setting boundaries, and how sometimes good intentions are not enough. I like to give pet names to the various Torah readings. Perhaps it helps me remember when they come about. So this Shabbat Parah I sometimes call How Now Red Cow, or just Shabbat Moo. When I think of the weekly Parsha Shemini, it is the one where Nadav and Avihu are zapped. And we get some rules of kashrut as well. I want to focus our discussion on that zapping. From the Torah. Now Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, each took a fire pan, put fire in it, laid the incense on it, and they offered before God Eish Zara, alien fire, which had not been enjoined upon them. And a fire came forth from God and consumed them. Thus they died at the instance of God. This is the entire narrative. No direct reason is given, and the Torah text itself has to figure out why were Nadav and Avihu killed without any warning. Moshe gives an explanation. This is what God meant: through those near to me I show myself holy and gain glory before all the people. So in order for glory to come to God, Nadav and Avihu had to be stricken dead on one of the most important days of their life, and to cause Aaron to have to think about his son's death on a day that he is supposed to be literally performing before all and experiencing God's presence. The comment that Moshe makes is enigmatic himself. It seems that Moshe thinks Nadav and Avihu were not punished, but they were an offering of some type. A human offering that God takes instead of humans killing them as well? That's not so easy to sit with. A play on words with the words krovai, with nearness, a korban. We crave closeness to God. But perhaps Moses is saying there is such a thing as becoming too close. When you become too close, then you're struck in and taken in by God's kavod, God's honor, but also God's presence. Nadav and Avihu, by the way, come back up a few chapters later in the introduction to the Yom Kippur ritual. Acharei mot shnei bnei Haron. Adonai spoke to Moses after the death of Aaron's two sons, who drew too close to the presence of God. And then the text continues that only one day of year, one person can come close into the shrine. Otherwise, you cannot. And we know there was a beautiful ritual, a powerful ritual that allowed the Kohen Gadol on that one day a year to come in. Nadav and Avihu did not commit a crime. They got zapped because they experienced too much of a good thing. God's presence needs mediation. We know that fact from the revelation of Sinai when the Israelites say, Moses, God is too much. You go into the cloud and then you mediate and talk to us. One of the many lessons of Nadav and Avihu is that we need to be careful and cognizant of our boundaries with others, with ourselves, and with God. We need to give people physical and emotional space. Partners need space. Our children need space and privacy. Parents need their space. And our friends need space as well. There is much truth in the phrase, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Even when intentions are good, sometimes damage can be done. How many of you remember Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree? It is about a boy and an apple tree. The boy and the tree bond when the boy is young. It is a bond that remains even as the boy grows into an adult with needs that the tree is more than happy to provide. apples to sell, branches and bark to build a house. And the book we know ends poignantly with the boy, now an old man, sitting on the tree's remaining stump as a resting place. The tree gave and gave until there was almost no more. Like any work of literature, we get to decide the meaning. One meaning is an environmental lesson about how we humans exploit resources when we really are in a bonded relationship with those resources. If we humans really cared for the trees, we wouldn't exploit them. We would find ways to sustain them. Others see the giving tree as a lesson in the consequences of unbridled giving. The tree literally gave its flesh to the boy. Are we supposed to give the shirts off our back? Or is there a boundary to our giving? There's a genre called fan fiction, where people who enjoy a particular fictional universe write additions or alternate versions of the original. It's like a midrash on fiction. Topher Payne, a drama writer from Atlanta, wrote an alternative vision of the giving tree titled "The Tree Who Set Healthy Boundaries." I'm going to read a part from the part that's most different, that deviates from the original book. It is online as well, and I can share the link. And so after the tree gives the apples and the boy comes asking for the bark, the tree says, "Look, I was fine with giving you the apples to help you get on your feet. They'll grow back next season anyway. But no, I am not giving you a house. You know, I've seen boys like you pull this nonsense with other trees in the forest. First it's the apples, then the branches, then the trunk. And before you know it, that mighty, beautiful tree is just a sad little stump. Well, look here, boy. I love you like family, but I'm not going down like that." They actually become partners in a bakery. The tree goes to business school. It's kind of a little interesting. But in the end, the boy's children and grandchildren get to play and bond with the tree the same way the boy did. And so here's the tree's reflections at the end. As each generation played in her strong old branches, the tree often thought back to that fateful day when the boy asked her for a house. In truth, she would have gladly given him her branches to build one. She would have given him her trunk to build a boat. She loved him that much. But then she would have had nothing left, not for herself, not anyone else. And there never would have been a home for the red squirrels. There would never have been no hide and seek with the boy's grandchildren, no bakery with the best apple pies anyone ever tasted. Setting healthy boundaries is a very important part of giving. It assures you always have something left to give. And so the tree was happy. Everyone was. The end. The tree wants a two-way relationship with the boy. The tree wants the boy to give back and to care for the tree. And with the initial refusal, the boy and the tree are able to thrive in symbiosis. By pushing back on the boy, even though she would have gone that far, they were actually able to build back better. A lesson in setting boundaries leads to the idea that sometimes we need to have delayed gratification, and that sometimes that is better than giving in to the initial ask. Who knows what was on Nadav and Abihu's mind? They were impatient. They were eager to please God and perhaps their elders. They had this incense. They knew a little bit. A little knowledge can sometimes be dangerous. And in their actions, they paid the ultimate price. In addition to having good intentions, we need healthy boundaries. We need to strive for the golden mean between selflessness and selfishness. There are indeed times to mind other people's business, including perhaps, and more importantly, the minding of the business and the privacy of those closest to us. And we need healthy means to tell those around us when they encroach on our boundaries. A good metaphor is that we are all lawns with nice low picket fences. A lot can be seen from the outside, but only you and you alone can invite others through the gate in the fence into your own yard. Even if the fence is easy to jump, though, remember, if you jump into someone's yard without asking, it is trespassing. God is holy. God is wonderful at a distance, and God can sometimes be dangerous in very close proximity. Be aware of the boundaries, even if they're not well marked, and try not to cross them. Like the tree and the boy, we are healthier when we do. Shabbat Shalom.